Hi, I'm Steve Jones from Redgate Software and SQL Server Central, and I want to show you how to get started with Test Data Manager in less than 10 minutes. So Test Data Manager is a new solution from Redgate Software that helps you build better database software. And in the spirit of ingeniously simple tools, Alex Yates built this little PowerShell tool that lets you run a mini PoC in just a few minutes. So I'm going to start by putting a place for that to exist. I'm going to put that in my Git folder. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open up an administrative console as administrator. I do this because I'm actually going to need some administrative rights to install DBA tools here. Document/git. Okay. And I'm going to git clone this down. And in less than a minute, we've got this folder down. So now I'm going to start running this because there are a few download things that just take some time. So we'll run this. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and explain what's going on. Now it prints out some configuration items here and it lets me know what's actually going to be happening. So you can see there's a number of items here. And then it checks for DBA tools. I don't have it on this machine, so it's actually going to make sure that I get it installed. So I'll actually start that install here. And we'll see the download start here in a minute, and then the installation will take place. Now, it does require administrative privileges. That's a DBA tools thing, but there are a lot of handy tools inside of there that let you get things done quickly. So once this is done, it'll unzip and then import the module. And then we'll start downloading the Redgate tools that you need to do the subsetting and the masking portions of this tool. So DBA tools is importing, and now we should start seeing the download. Here we go. So we're going to get the subsetter first and then the anonymizer. You can see this is about 37 meg. So this will take a few minutes. While that's running, let's go see how this tool actually works. So if you know PowerShell, this is pretty simple. It's not that hard to understand, but we've tried to organize it and take the work of you learning, the parameters and the flow of things for the various tools out of the need when you want to test if the tool actually does what you need. So you can see I've got some parameters here. For example, here is the instance I'll connect to. I've used localhost here. I have tested it on a named instance and it works. We're going to create a base database name of Northwind. And what we'll do is for the production version, we'll add full restore to it. And for the subset, we add subset. So it'll actually drop and create those databases each time for you. And then in the subset area, what I'm going to actually do is I'm picking a starting table and I'm going to filter it with this where clause. I could pick a target size, or I could have a different type of filter or multiple filters if I wanted, but the tool is actually handling that for me, and we'll see the commands that are going to be run. So we are about done with the subsetter here. This will get installed into my path so that it can run, and then we'll start downloading the anonymizer. You can see I had old versions of these tools here, so it's actually updating for me. And because we update this tool every week, it becomes really important that you have at least a version that works well for your situation, and you get the latest version when you're testing this out. So this is running. Let's see what else we're doing down here. Here's the DBA tools. We'll do the install module and the import module. The download actually comes from a helper script that is in a subfolder in the Git repo, but that will download things. And then we'll do an authorization. And the authorization is to start a trial because this is subscription-based software. If you have a license from your Redgate rep, it will just use that. If not, we agree to the EULA to run these tools, and then we'll start the trial. And we have to do each one of those tools. I'll actually log in with my Redgate ID that does not have a license, so it will start a trial for me. Then we'll drop the target databases, we'll create the databases, and we'll keep going from there. So we are almost done here. Let's see, about 30 meg in here, so there's just a little bit left to do here. We'll give that just a minute to finish. I am at 434 in my clock counter, which includes the introduction. So I'm confident this will finish in less than 10 minutes. Once the downloads happen, this is actually pretty amazingly fast. And I think we might be able to run it twice in 10 minutes. So here we go. We've downloaded things. Let me get my password ready. So I will enter my email address here. So I don't have a license here. So I'll put in my password, and this should authorize things. And then the next line, it actually authorizes the anonymizer tool as well. So now it's going to create my databases. So if I look here, I've got this script. I'm actually going to copy this entire script, and then I'm going to make a vertical window. What did I do there? Well, that's fantastic. Oh, I need a new query window. That's the problem. I'm wasting time here when I need to do this. So here, and we're going to change this to subset. So let's run these queries, see where we are. Nothing in my subset, 830 orders in the full restore, and then my order IDs are large. So now we're going to subset things. So let's start this up and run this. You'll notice that in this clause, my filter clause is here. It's running. This is mapping out the database. It's creating some temporary tables. It's going to decide what data to move, and then it will move that data over. And so once that gets done, a few seconds here, let's check this side again. Now I have 12 orders stopping below 10,260. And of course, I have employees in both of these situations. Okay. Let's go down here. See the employees. So I have 6 employees here and 9 employees here. So I've subsetted that table as well. The next thing to do is classify my data. And you can see the command here. But what this is actually going to do is look for PII data. So in my ctemp, we create this automasclet. I create this classification file here. And if I look at this file, what you see is that if I go down to customers, we've identified the contact name as a full name. If I go down to employees, we've seen there's a last name, which is a family name, and a first name, which is a given name. So we're classifying out your data. And now we'll map that. So what the mapping does is give me a way to determine what type of data masking I actually want to apply. So if I go down to that contact name, it's going to use the data set of full names, and it's going to do this deterministically so that the same names are masked in all related tables easily. And the same thing employees, where my given names are masked to my first name and family names to the last name. So let's do the masking now. We'll take that masking file and we'll actually apply it. And this will run really quickly. And let's come back over here. Still have the same orders, and you can see now that the names have changed, right? Employee IDs are the same, but the names have changed. So we're about 8 minutes in. Let's actually do this again so you can see what this works like. So let's change one thing in here. I'm going to change this to 11. So we're going to get more items in here. So let's come back. We'll run the same thing again. We do not have to do DBA tools as a download or installation. Instead, we'll just import the module. We do not have to download anything from Redgate because we already have the latest versions. We haven't released between the last few minutes. I know we released quickly, but not that quickly. Now we're going to drop and recreate the databases. So once that happens, we'll be ready to do the subsetting again. We'll get a different size subset in here because I changed the number of orders that were involved here, right? Which is very handy if I need to create a new subset to solve a new problem based on something that people have reported from production. So the subsetting again runs pretty quickly. We're having 13 tables here that we're working on with minimal rows. We'll classify our data. Nothing's really changed there. Same thing with the mapping. And then we'll do the masking again. Okay. And there we go. So if we come back over here, I'm going to rerun this side just so we can see 830 orders again. And again, we have the same names. Now, Nancy became Vinny over here. Let's rerun this and see where we are now. Now we have 830 orders because, well, that's too big a number, right? I changed that number. It was 200 there. And the masking has changed again. So Rylan is now mapping to Nancy. So in under 10 minutes, I've run this twice. You can play around with it yourself. Please feel free to go out and to this repo and Alex Yates Redgate and look for the TDM automasclet thing and check out Test Data Manager. Contact your rep and tell them you ran your own POC in less than 10 minutes. Now you want to know more. I'm Steve Jones for Redgate Software.